Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to be ranking all available tier 4 characters just in time for the December update, where we will inevitably get 1 to 2 to 3 more tier 4s because they are just milking the whales ad nauseum. Now, it's a little bit tough, I'm not going to lie, to rank the tier 4s because of two reasons. One, they're built very differently. So some of them are very good at tier 4 and not good at tier 3. Some of them are very good at tier 3 and then they get a little bit better or a lot better at tier 4. So there actually is a lot to consider. Secondly, I don't actually have all the characters at tier 4. So that is another factor that is going to make this list obviously subjective, obviously just my opinion. You could probably get a better opinion from someone who has all of the tier 4s and has played all of them and tested all of them. However, I've heard from a lot of players who have them. You know, I've obviously done my research. We do a little bit of future fighting over here on this channel, so I feel like I'm still in a pretty good position to give you my advice and give you my opinions. However, interestingly, I have not prepped this video. I usually prep my tier list videos by making the tier list off camera before I start recording, and then I have the tier list up in the corner and I can refer to it. But I thought it'd be more interesting to take you through my thought process, try to speed it along, but take you through my thought process and really try and hammer down what I feel. So here's the thing. There's two ways that this tier list can go. One way is that we overvalue someone like Carnage, who is able to do both PvP and PvE at a high level with the same build, as long as you have his build max. Like if you have a 6-star artifact for him, you know, you really max out his build overall, he's tier 4, and you slap a rage on him, he's going to be very good for PvE and PvP. He could obviously be better for PvP if you gave him a different CTP, but you kind of get what I'm saying. So I either go that route, or we go the route of not overvaluing, but sort of making Black Bolt the kind of the gold standard, because he is by far the best character here for ABX and ABL content. He's probably also the best character overall for GBR on a consistent basis, especially from low to high Pierce and that sort of thing. Obviously, there are some characters that can go faster than Black Bolt on specific days. So in case you guys are wondering, as far as overall DPS goes, if you put a Blue Dragon max build versus a Black Bolt max build on the combat day of Dormammu for GBR, Black Bolt is going to get destroyed and Blue Dragon is going to win because of the type advantage. However, on the non-type advantage days, I'm pretty sure it's either either equal or Black Bolt wins, right? So overall, I would consider his consistency a little bit more valuable than being strong twice a week, right? Because of the way that it rotates, it goes like blast, combat speed, universal. So yeah, I'm inclined to go with Black Bolt. Really, the only thing that makes him obviously the seasonal uniform, right? But the only thing that makes him, he's even good for farming, right? The only thing that makes me kind of hesitate is that he has like no value at all for PvP and that sort of thing. He's very low, pretty low defenses, that sort of thing. But yeah, I do think Black Bolt might be the gold standard at this point, especially with how well he performed for low and high Pierce accounts. Like, we say that Carnage is good as a hybrid build, but does that hold true on low Pierce accounts? I'm not sure about that, especially for PvP. You do need Pierce. It's often an overlooked component, but you do need Pierce for PvP to do enough damage. So let's say Black Bolt is the gold standard here. Does Carnage outweigh the value of the Hulk? Carnage probably has a little bit more value for PvE than the Hulk, a little bit less value for PvP. Has Carnage really shifted the meta in PvP as much as Hulk? I don't think so. So as tough as it is, yeah, I think this is tough. I think Hulk overall is the more influential character, at least for now. That might change. I could be wrong about this in the coming months, which especially with Black Friday and Wales having like gone full investment into Carnage. But I think Hulk has shifted the meta more in PvP, and he remains a constant more often than Carnage. You see Hulk on literally every team. So I would put him just a hair above Carnage in terms of value here. Blue Dragon, I'm not saying she's worse than these characters. I just don't have anywhere to put her. I can pull her back down here. At this point, I would say you probably have to put Moon Knight here. And that's not to say that Moon Knight is bad, but someone has to be at the bottom, right? If I'm going to do a ranking, if you're going to do like, hey, we have the top 11 ice cream flavors, there has to be a number 11. It doesn't mean that it's a bad flavor, but that's where mint chocolate chip goes. And that's just the way things are. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think Moon Knight deserves to be here. He's good for World Boss Legend. He's good for ABX. He's good for ABL. That's kind of where it ends for him. He's not very good for GBR compared to other tier 4s. He's not good for PvP. And yeah, there are just other characters now that do what he does as well as he does it, or a little bit better. And that's really where we're sort of starting to see him slip. He's also one of the first tier 4s, and unlike Iron Man, he has to compete with a lot of combats. I imagine once we get 2 or 3 or 4 more blast types, that we'll be feeling the same way about Iron Man. But for the time being, I mean, you could... Would you do that? No. Iron Man's value in World Boss Legend is just too high. Iron Man's value in World Boss Legend is just too high. Okay, let's put Iron Man there for now. Black Widow. This is a tough one. Black Widow, obviously the best speed character in the game, has a lot of value, but the problem I have with Black Widow is that her value is being sort of manipulated by the fact that there are no other speed tier 4s. Like, I think Black Widow is going to be exposed as not a very good tier 4. She's going to quickly go to the B tier once we start getting a few more speed tier 4s, maybe Ant-Man and things like that. I know that's still a couple of months away, so I'm going to look dumb for a couple of months ranking Black Widow below Carnage. But yeah, she didn't make enough of a splash in PvP, in my opinion. Like, the footage wasn't so shockingly good that everyone ran out to tier 4 Black Widow. And that surprised me because of how much of a torment Adam Warlock and Emma Frost is. But what I'm seeing now after Black Friday is actually the reverse. People are still going out and building Adam, which tells me that players are not afraid of Black Widow in PvP, which tells me that she has no PvP value, despite the fact that she does have PvP value. Just follow me along here. So essentially, right now, her value is just being held up by the fact that she's the only one. And as far as her scores go for ABL, while they are the best for the speed female human, they're not that far off, right? She's not doing like millions and millions more than Shuri and Miss Marvel. I can get 5 million with Shuri and Miss Marvel, which is only a million off of 6, which is the last tier for score, right? I'm not talking about like people who are going for high score. I'm just talking about getting all of the rewards. So she's really not offering you that much in that department. So I do think that she deserves to be there. Okay, we come to Thor now. I think Thor has to come up here. Mainly because he's more useful than Black Bolt in World Boss Legend. He's a little bit slower than Black Bolt in GBR, but he also has more value in farming, right? I think Black Bolt's a good farmer, but Thor is the best. He's the de facto number 1 for that, so I would have to put him here. This may be a little bit overvalued again. I know you're putting both of the Universals in S tier, Alex, but here's the thing. It's about consistency, right? You can take them into any day of GBR and they're going to be consistently good. Are they going to get out DPS on certain days? Absolutely. Absolutely they are. But on other days, they're going to out DPS, so it ends up averaging out, right? So I'll put Thor there for now. I could be wrong, but we'll see. We come to now... All right, without knowing that much about Blue Dragon tier 4, because I don't have her, I'm confident that eventually she'll be up here. And I say that eventually she'll be S tier because she may not be S tier right at this moment. She may be like somewhere over here, right? But the reason why I think she's going to be S tier, which is weird because it's a tier list for right now, but just follow me here, is that she has a very good kit for both PvE and PvP. Her tier 4 is the only tier 4 in the game that deals damage, right? And still, it is the only one that deals damage because after Blue Dragon, we got Hulk, we got Carnage, we got Namor, we got Cap. You see what I'm saying? So we got Black Bolt. So we've had a bunch of tier 4s after Blue Dragon, but they made Blue Dragon special by making her the only tier 4 skill that does damage. And it does a lot of damage, over 1 million damage per hit. And it's got like 7 or 10 hits. So it's not a joke, right? On top of the fact that she has that crazy counterattack skill, she sort of feels like Captain America, right? I think Blue Dragon in a lot of ways feels like Captain America. I'm not going to put Captain America in the S tier. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to put Captain America right over here. But I feel like Captain America is very much like Blue Dragon in the sense that there's like a counterattack third skill, and there's this very obvious balance between PvE and PvP. However, the difference between Blue Dragon and Captain America is twofold. One, Cap's tier 3 skill, tier 4 skill doesn't do any damage. Blue Dragon's does, so that gives her an edge in PvE over Cap. And then 2, Blue Dragon has access to a revive from Sunbird. Captain America doesn't have access to any revive, which makes her better long-term for PvP, especially if one of the other Warriors of the Sky gets a tier 4. Imagine having to kill Blue Dragon twice at tier 4, and then having to kill another Warrior of the Sky at tier 4 twice. Even if Sunbird sucks, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Believe you me, that is not going to be a fun fight. It's going to be difficult. So again, I could be wrong about this one, but I kind of feel like this makes sense to me. Now, Cap being here, I know everyone loves Cap. The thing with Cap is it's very simple. Master of none. Jack of all trades, master of none. He's a very good character. He's almost too good at tier 3 level 80 that you just don't need to tier 4 him. Now, why don't I put him below Moon Knight in that case? Well, the reason why I'm not putting him below Moon Knight, I'll put him below Black Widow. The reason why I'm not putting him below Moon Knight is because Moon Knight is just for ABX, ABL, right? But Cap has other value. Well, I mean, Moon Knight's for World Boss Legend too, but Cap has a little bit more flexibility. He's got PvP value, right? He's got a leadership. You see what I'm saying? He sort of expands the possibilities for your roster. So I give him a little bit of an edge over Moon Knight. It's not a crazy edge, but I do give it an edge here. Namor, Storm, and Venom. Okay, I'm gonna put Venom here for now. That's where I think Venom goes. I may be overvaluing Venom a little bit. I really like him. I think he's a little underrated. He got kind of lost in the shuffle between everyone else. He definitely has more PvP value than Moon Knight, less than Captain America. But then I do think that he has some uniqueness to his build for PvE content that Cap does not. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. Maybe that makes more sense. Maybe that makes more sense. We'll go with that for now. I still think Venom is good, but I do think he has a lot of competition, obviously, in the combat class. And now we go to the last two, the two mutants here. They have the advantage of being very rare as mutants. However, yeah, that's tough. I think I'm gonna put Namor here. And I think I'm going to put Namor here because he occupies a very specific, right, mutant combat villain category. And he's one of the few characters in the game that works so well with a CTP of Judgment. And I think that definitely matters for something because it offers some flexibility to how you build your roster. Whereas it's like Rage, or actually Judgment on these two, but like Rage. You sort of get what I'm saying, right? But yeah, I think Namor is pretty good despite having no PvP value. You know, yeah, it's tough. I think offensively he's very good, but having no PvP value, like, see, everyone on the S tier has big value for at least 2 of the 3 major game modes in Marvel Future Fight. In my opinion, the major game modes is PvE, PvP, and then farming, right? So all the characters in S tier have major value for 2 of the 3. None of them have major value for all 3. But that's kind of good because it would be unbalanced otherwise. As far as Storm goes, in terms of her value on your roster, if you're trying to be competitive in all game modes, she does land here, right? Because, again, she's the only mutant blast female, right, for tier 4. And she's like the only mutant besides Iceman who's gotten anything recently. However, in terms of, like, even in terms of World Boss Legend, like, Iron Man's going to help you climb faster and for more stages than Storm will. And then Storm has no PvP value, right? So I feel like it's kind of unfair. I feel like Storm's value right now in the current meta is here, okay? Is right there. However, her true value in like 6 months or whatever, when we get more mutants, is going to be like here. Okay? I honestly think that's the truth. Based on the fact that she has very low defenses, very low movement speed. She's hard to pilot in terms of like dodging and things like that. Yeah. I want to like Storm more. Also, her uniform being paywall, they did her kind of dirty. Maybe I'd put her here. Maybe we'll go with this. Okay, let's go with this. I think this is pretty good. It's very tough to rank tier 4s. So roast me in the comments. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.